Yep, I owed $35,454 in student loans and a car loan when I graduated college. This is my debt confession in full story. Why, hello, my yellow groupers. I'm Carly, a finance grad, the creator of Best Money Class Ever, where I teach how to pay off debt in 36 months or less, invest to retire a millionaire, and stress less about money. Grab a seat. I'm about to spill the financial tea. Are you ready for it? Last episode, I shared things that I wish I knew in my 20s. This is the follow-up. We're going back to my college days with my debt, and these are my confessions. These are my confessions. Your girl is a millennial through and through. Definitely an Usher fan. Definitely saw him perform live in Austin, Texas. I'm going to do a deep dive on my exact debt. I'm going to go through year by year in college exactly how much I took out when student loans and the terms of my car loan, the monthly payments, the interest rates, all the things. Hopefully, if you're dealing with debt, this will help you feel a little less alone. And this is the official start of my 0 to 1 million journey series. I shared on national news my goal to be a millionaire by 45. I am now 40, and I started this year with a net worth of over $556,000. I'm going to take you back to my college days, starting from scratch, and how I've gotten to where I am right now, and then my progress. The idea of this is I want to help you from start to finish turn things around to pay off debt and invest and reach that millionaire status too. Think of me as your personal finance consultant to help you get the results that you want with your money and life. Episode number 2, I shared with you exactly how I get organized with my money and life. I am a finance grad, so everything that I'm going to be sharing in the 0 to 1 million net worth updates is from a financial standpoint. I freaking love financial statements, and I want you to become chief financial officer to manage your money like a boss. As a quick recap, the framework that I will be using is your balance sheet. It's a snapshot of exactly where you stand with your money. It is kind of like the DTR, define the relationship talk with where are we. It shows your assets, which is everything that you own, your liabilities, which is everything that you owe, and then your net worth, which is assets minus liabilities. And when I say I want to reach 1 million, that is 1 million net worth. For now, we're going to take a look at my liabilities starting back in my college days. These are my confessions. I'm going to be sharing my exact details on the student loan and the car loan. Be sure to follow along and subscribe. I will be sharing exactly how I paid everything off within less than 3 years of graduating from college. If you want the exact tools that I use to manage your money too, there's no gatekeeping. You can grab my financial day planner. It's a day planner and financial plan in one. It's linked in the description below. These are my confessions. Let's start with my student loans. I'm going to break it down year by year exactly how much I borrowed each year in college. For my freshman year, I took out the first semester $1,312. The second semester, I took out the exact same amount, $1,312. My sophomore year, the fall year, I took out $1,750. This is actually the year that I had to take a semester off because I got bit by a tick and got Lyme disease. If any of you have experience where your college days weren't exactly like you thought because a health crisis or emergency prevented you from staying enrolled, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your experience. My experience is it sucked. You actually take out the debt and you're like, not even using this because I have to temporarily drop out. Luckily, the spring semester, I was able to get back into school. I took out an additional $1,750 that semester. For my junior year, the fall semester, I took out $2,750. And then the spring semester, I took out an additional $2,750. And then my senior year, I did not take out any debt and I was able to cash flow the rest of the expenses. The total that I took out in debt for student loans was $11,624. When I graduated, the total that I owed was $12,077. Some loans were subsidized, some were unsubsidized. So what that meant is interest was capitalized and added onto the balance of the loan. Some payments were made to the interest to reduce the impact, but I did end up owing even more when I graduated than what was initially taken out. All in all, though, I did do a 10-year fixed loan. The interest rates were different on the different loans, and then it was like consolidated. So the final interest rate was 6.8%, which is kind of high. And then also my monthly payments were $134. If you're wondering, like, wow, that's actually pretty low. What kind of privilege did she have? Did her parents pay for everything? Like, what's the deal? So let me give you the context and a few of the behind the scenes things with what really happened. My parents did buy me a car in high school, which is always a huge financial relief. I was given a maroon Nissan Sentra, and they did pay for the car insurance as well as my cell phone and health insurance all throughout college. They helped out here and there with other expenses. And the big thing though, I actually did work my way all the way through college. When I say work my way through college, I'm not talking like 10-hour jobs on the weekends at Bath and Body Works. I am talking as soon as I graduated high school. I was a senior in high school, 18 years old. I drove all the way across the country and did a summer sales internship. I literally woke up at 6 a.m. every morning, took a cold shower, and then hit the doors doing direct sales as in face-to-face, working over 80 hours a week. And so it was physically, emotionally, and spiritually exhausting. So I definitely worked super legit hard. A confession, something that I have never said out loud, is my scholarships. When I first graded best money class ever, I had coffee in hand and my laptop. I took what I learned studying finance and my personal experience paying off debt and everything. I included my scholarships in my story that I tell everyone. I actually gave the text to best money class ever to about 5 or so different people to get some feedback. And one of my friends, her dad was an actual CFO, chief financial officer. And he made a little comment like, I don't know if I would include talking about your scholarships because that makes you sound like a little entitled. I kind of have not talked about it, but I wanted to kind of share the big picture. I did get a decent amount of scholarships whenever I was in college. To circle back, every podcast and show has a dope name that they call their listeners. I call you guys my yellow groupers. And so my scholarships is a classic yellow grouper moment. Quick refresher on the story. When I was in kindergarten, Mrs. Shields, my teacher, divided up the classroom into reading levels. There was the red group for the advanced readers, the blue group for the mid readers, and then there was the yellow group for the slow readers. I was in the yellow group. Nothing came natural to me. So that is where my grit was truly born. I had to work hard at everything. I did go as a true underdog story from yellow grouper, slow reader, to my senior year in high school. I was student body president, editor of the high school newspaper, captain of the varsity soccer team, and top of my class. I got into Macomb School of Business, which is at the time the number 4 undergraduate business school in the nation. Nothing came naturally to me. I had to really work hard for all of that. And one of the things that I teach inside of Best Money Class Ever, my signature class, is if you're thinking about going back to school, you want to evaluate the return on investment, you do want to apply for as many scholarships as possible. When I was a senior in high school, I spent hours upon hours applying to everything that was out there, and I did end up getting one of the best, most competitive scholarships from University of Texas Alumni Association. It was called the Texas Excellence Award for Scholarships and Leadership. 6 people out of 1,700 UT students got this award, and I was one of them. This was like, if you do the math, like the odds of like 0.003% acceptance rate. I am very proud of going from yellow grouper to a scholar. With that scholarship, I did end up receiving $8,500 a year. In addition to that scholarship, I got about 6 other mini scholarships. I don't remember exactly the amounts, but I know they were ranging from about $500 to $1,000 or so each. And so that's why my student loans from my freshman year were lower, because a lot of them were just a one-time thing. But that's the yellow grouper underdog energy that I'm talking about and I want to bring here. My scholarships covered the cost of tuition and books, and then the student loans were for my room and board and other miscellaneous things, and then also the income that I earned. Things took a big turn. As I mentioned, and things I learned when I was in my 20s, I had a really bad case of lifestyle inflation. This is the most embarrassing thing financially as a financial educator that I did, and I'm just like, please, whatever you do, don't do what I did. And that is, I bought a brand spanking new car in college. What happened was I became a top sales rep in what was an Inc. 500 company, meaning one of the fastest 500 companies in the entire nation. And they offered a car bonus. They were going to give me $500 a month to go towards any car that I wanted. So I went out and bought not just any car, but a white brand new Mercedes-Benz. The car payments were $560. I thought, what could possibly go wrong? The company went bankrupt. So I was then on the hook for the rest of the loan. What I have never shared before is the details of that car loan. So let me bring up the numbers. This is the price sheet, and this is so embarrassing. Okay, so it says here C300 Arctic White. The MSRP was $31,200. And then the premium package I got, which is like, what was I thinking? I don't know. I got the Sirius Satellite for $1,400, which in hindsight, I'm like, wait a second, that was never actually activated on my car. Or at least I don't remember that it was, but the premium package was $1,400. And then I got the multimedia package, the 7-inch, this is what they call it, the 7-inch power retract. That was a console with my GPS. That thing was an extra $2,950. And if you go back and watch the last episode, I shared with you that console ended up blacking out within a couple of years. $3,000 down the drain right there. Okay, and then it was an extra $1,440 for the 7-speed automatic transmission. On the actual notes here, it says the cash price of the vehicle was $36,965. $36,965. Okay. And then I had for the extra fees, it was sales tax, which is mandatory. That was 6.2% here in Texas. So that was $23,10, $31. There's a dealer's inventory tax for $98.47. A doc fee, which is also required for car purchases, that was $50. State inspection fee was $23.75. Deputy service fee was $5. The license fee was $60.80. I think that's just to buy the actual license. You have to do that. And the title fee was $33. County road fee was $10, bringing the total due $39,556.33. Okay, here is what was maybe a silver lining. So even though I got a car bonus, I did actually put this, I didn't lease it, I did buy this. It has here, if I wanted to do a lease, it would have been $546 a month for 51 months with $3,000 down. I decided not to do that. I did put $10,000 down because I did tell you I was a top sales rep. I actually did earn a lot, a crazy amount. Make sure and subscribe. Next week, I'll share my exact income from college with this internship. Okay, so here, one thing that I totally regret is kind of embarrassing. I did get, it's called My Tire Expert Tire and Wheel Shield. So this was $390, some kind of like tire warranty, which is like, at that time, I didn't realize you might as well just buy a new tire versus spend $390. I added that $390 to my down payment. All in all, I took out $29,023.75. The interest rate on that debt was 5.78 over 60 months. So my monthly payment was $559.49. I ended up having to pay that. There was no magical car bonus. I would never, ever get a new car again. Never say never, but I'm pretty sure I'm always going to get like a 2-year-old car to kind of take the loss with depreciation. I paid that $560 my senior year in college, and then I ended up having a super semester because I had to take a semester off of school for Lyme disease. So I did outright pay for my tuition that final year as well, and then keep paying the payments on my car loan. When I graduated, what I owed on the car was then $23,376. I have to say my debt story is a lot different, in my opinion, than what you see online, people sharing. I am kind of embarrassed a little bit about it because in theory I had the scholarship, I was working, I did make a decent amount of income. Like, why did I have even the student loans that I did have? Plus, why did I take out this car loan? I feel like the car loan story, the income that I was making was a full-time annual income. So I feel like part of my debt story is more like what, say, maybe like a college grad, like year one engineer would go out and buy like a Mercedes-Benz because you're making decent income. So you think like, why not? So I feel like my debt story in college is more along the line of like a first couple years into working where you make that one good year of income and you're like, oh, I'm rich. And then you want to look rich. But that's my story. those are my confessions. Hopefully in sharing it, you realize you're like not alone, that we all in our 20s kind of make these mistakes. We don't really pay attention as much as we would like to, but hopefully we learn from our mistakes and do differently as we move forward. I will be sharing exactly how I paid off my debt within less than 36 months of graduating, and I really believe that you can turn things around too. All you need is just a little financial education and a solid plan. I am here to hype you up. Now it is time for a best money class ever money win, and this is a super simple one. This is from someone who was kind of overwhelmed, didn't really know what to do, but then she just entered her numbers in the debt calculator and saw what was possible. Let me read what she had to say. By simply adding in her numbers to the debt calculator, she found out that if I add 300 to what I'm already doing, I'll be debt-free in 11 months. Amazing things happen when you do have a plan with a deadline. For my best money class ever students, when I work with you, I always want you to pay everything off within 36 months or less. It is totally possible. Thank you, my yellow groupers, for listening. Again, I am calling you my yellow groupers. We have the slow starts. We get off course. We get knocked down. We've been through some things. Nothing comes easy. Life doesn't go as according to plan. The cards are stacked against us. The hands we are dealt are not ideal. That is where our grit is born. We get off course. We get knocked down. But we don't ever give up. And our adversities make us stronger. Those are my debt confessions, and I hope it helps you feel a little bit less alone if you are dealing with debt right now. You can see exactly what it takes for you to pay off debt within 36 months or less and grab my financial day planner. It's a day planner and financial plan in one. It's linked below. If you've been meaning to get your finances in order, now's the time, and this is the best place to start. Here, you'll overcome analysis paralysis with the finance plan. This is the roadmap that you've been looking for with money to pay off debt and retire a millionaire, even if you have no idea where to start and you're living paycheck to paycheck. Stay tuned. Next episode, I will be sharing my exact income from my college days. I am really curious. I would love to hear from you. What are your debt confessions? What mistakes did you make when it comes to borrowing money in college and school? Spill your financial tea and leave a comment now if you're watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify. Did you like this episode? Make sure to like it and subscribe and share it with your friends who also geek out over personal finance. Leave me a 5-star review wherever you're listening. It really helps others who are on a mission to pay off debt and invest find this show. Best money class ever, my signature live and virtual 4-week personal finance class starts soon. Want in? You can take the intro for free. Head on over to bestmoneyclassever.com or the link below and save your spot. You'll instantly get a 20-page downloadable where you can start the finance plan. As always, remember you only live once. Be smart with your money now. I will catch you later. Bye.